Hi seniors, this is Eric Daw from OmniFit. And I know in the past I've done a lot of different videos of a lot of compilations with different exercises that you can follow about strength, about balance, about coordination. But one thing I haven't done is put them all together and make a compilation that you can follow me with a timer and do the whole thing. So that's what we're gonna do today. Hopefully, before we start this workout, you've already done a warm-up. I'm not gonna do that with you. We're just gonna get straight into it. So, as I like to say, for these next 10 minutes, let's get into it.
So hopefully you have about 2 dumbbells, or you can even use your body weight. But the first thing I'm gonna have you do is an explosive sit and stand. This is the first version of the sit and stand you can do. If you can do this version, do this version. We're gonna do each exercise for 30 seconds. So you can do this version, do this one. This is the explosive sit and stand that I want you to do. And if you notice, I'm going explosively on the way up. And if that one is too easy, you can add a little jump like I'm adding right here. It's great for a power movement. After the sit and stand, I want you to get in a bent over row position, having one leg forward, slight angle, pulling and squeezing your shoulder blades together as you're pulling those elbows back. We're gonna make sure we remember what leg is back. We're gonna eventually go and do the other leg, but for now, leaning forward, pulling a weight in each hand and breathing out on the way up. You should really feel the biceps and the back muscles that you're working on this exercise. So keep going until we get to about 30 seconds. So put your weights down, get into a plank position, putting your hands on the chair. You want to make sure your body is in a nice straight line. We're doing a push-up from your chair. If you notice my body, the only thing really moving is my arms. My body maintains that 45-degree angle. I want you also to breathe in on the way down, breathe out on the way up. You should feel this exercise in the shoulders, the triceps, meaning the back of your arms, your chest, and your core. So I hope you remember what leg you had forward and which leg you had backwards as you grab your weights again. But we have to go back to that bent over row. Same position, you want to be in a 45-degree angle. If you notice, my body is not hunched over. I just have a slight lean off of my hips. As you breathe out again, you want to make sure you squeeze your shoulder blades at the very top. Again, we want to feel this exercise in the back, the biceps primarily. This is where we want to feel this exercise. As you're doing it, you want to make sure you maintain good form and keep that lane. Next, you want to make sure you have some space around you. So I'm going to have you do a heel toe walk as you're doing some shoulder presses. I know if you have any issues with balance, do the first version. But if this is too easy, do this version while you're doing it forward and backwards, taking about 5 steps forward, 5 steps backwards, heel and toe. Whether you lift your knees up or not, all depends on what you would like to do based on your ability. Now I want you to keep your weights and go straight into a kettlebell swing or a dumbbell swing. So we're gonna use the same weights you were just doing a shoulder press with, but your hip hinges or you're swinging right from your hips. Again, the main thing on this one is you don't want to hunch over. You just want to make sure that your body is swinging as you keep an upright position and you're leaning from your hips. You should ideally feel this in your hamstrings, glute area while you're doing this swing. Once we're finished our swing, we're going to go ahead and go straight back to our chair and take a seat. In this exercise, we're going to do an arm fly, basically spreading your arms to the side with one leg out. Again, like the other exercise, we want to remember what leg is sticking out. For the arm fly, we just want to go about shoulder height, keeping the palms down. You should feel this right in your shoulders. Go about to that height because we don't want to go any real higher than that. Okay, so now we're finished the arm flies. We want to finish the arm flies and keep our weights, and we want to stagger our feet. So basically, one foot should be in front of the other. The leg that you had lifted in the arm fly is the one that I want you to have in front. What you should feel is the leg that's actually further back is doing most of the work. You notice the weights I'm holding, they're right in front of my chest, and I'm going straight up. I'm not leaning too far forward. I'm going straight up as I'm standing and sitting out of the chair. You want to make sure you can really feel it in that back leg. Going back to the arm fly, I hope you again remember what leg you had up the last time. We got to switch. So same thing applies. We want to make sure we're sitting nice and tall. And I don't know if you noticed this the previous time, but you notice my back is not touching the back of the chair. The reason being is I get to work my core more as I'm sitting nice and tall like this. Same thing applies. We keep our palms down and spreading those arms out. So we should really feel this a lot in our shoulders. So once we finish, so we're gonna do the same thing. And remember, the leg you had in the air, putting that one a little bit forward. So we're back to our staggered position, weights right at our chest level, and we're standing and sitting. I hope you're breathing while you're doing this. I want you to breathe in on the way down and really out on the way up. Same thing like the previous one too. The back leg should feel like it's doing primarily or most of the work. So this exercise, we're just working the second side now.
Okay, beautiful. So now we're ready almost to move on to the next exercise. And for the next one, again, you're gonna need some space where you can go sideways. We can either put our hands up like I am and crossing forward and backwards as you're walking sideways. This one is a great exercise for coordination. If it's hard for you to keep the hands up, just keep them at your shoulders like I have right now as you're working your way back. Again, one in front or one behind, then one in front. We're doing it back and forth, and again, if it's possible, keep the hands up. You can press them up, keep them up, one leg in front, one behind. Great for coordination. The main thing on this one is that you don't want to compensate by turning your body. So I hope you did that well. So we put our weights down, go back to our chair, put our hands back in that plank position, and stand up. So this is basically like a chair burpee. I either can step forward or jump and hop forward like I just did now. So hopping forward and then add a little jump if you can. So hopping forward and add a jump if you can. This will really get the heart rate going up really fast. The key on this one, you can do any of the three versions, either step, hop, or add the hop at the ends. Really up to you, folks. Really up to you. Okay, so after we've done that, now we're gonna go to our one-legged chair stand. From here, this is kind of like a kettlebell swing where you're hinging from the hips again. You're still hinging from the hips, but you're doing it from one leg. Great exercise for balance, which is why I put it in here. This is also great for your glutes and your hamstrings, which most of us need to work anyway. So once we finished about 30 seconds of this, I'm gonna have you folks go ahead and switch legs. So we're gonna switch legs, do the same thing. So where should you feel this exercise? Hopefully, if you've done this correctly, if you're doing this right, you should feel it in the back of the leg that's on the ground. So for me, in this side, it's my left leg. So for you, it could be either of the legs that you have on the ground. But the main thing is that you're hinging from the hips and you're really working your balance and your glutes at the same time. So we want to make sure we're doing this properly. So I don't want you to rush. Take your time when you're doing this. So now that we're finished, find something you can put your hand on. Hold for stability, because I want you to do a leg, you could call it a hip abduction, where you should feel this again in your glutes or your gluteus medius, those muscles in your glutes, side, and hips. So to extend your leg out, you want to make sure you're standing nice and tall. This exercise is really good, again, for balance, because a lot of us don't have strong glutes. So when you strengthen your glutes like this exercise, really good for your balance. So once we do one side, of course, we have to do the other side, standing tall. I don't want you to swing your body. I want you to stand tall as you extend the leg out to the side. By now, you should start really feeling those outer hip muscles, those muscles on the side, those muscles in the glutes that are really good. As you can see, I'm really working doing this. So we're working the 30 seconds. You want to stay as tall as possible and really work those outside muscles. And as you see, I'm really working here. So I hope you're really working and feeling this too. So we're done with that, and we can actually go back to our weights again. So with our weights, we're going to do some heel walking. So this is really good for your gait. So you see, I'm kind of doing some walking forward and backwards. The weights are at my chest, and I'm walking on my heels. Can you keep your toes up? Taking about 5 to 10 steps forward, staying nice and tall, and taking 5 to 10 steps back. Just repeating this. Really good for the gait, because you know when we walk and we stride, we want to make sure our toes are up, which is really good to prevent tripping. I'm just going to have you take one of your weights and put it down. I want you to stay as low as you can and go under one leg, and under the other. Even though I'm actually in a crouch position, you can see that my upper body, I'm not hunched over. The other key thing is if you go low enough on this exercise, what you should feel is your quads, those front of your thighs. They should start burning. And that's okay. That's normal. That means you're just working out. So can you stay low, but keep your upper body nice and tall? Beautiful, folks. We're doing great. And now instead of going from our heels, we're going on our toes. We're doing some toe walks, weights at our chest. We're gonna go forward and backward. Same thing like the heel walks. Staying nice and tall and upright as we're walking. Few steps forward, few steps back. Really important for us to have strong calves, strong feet, because they're really the foundation of our body. And the key thing for us, again, I really want you to focus on staying nice and tall. Beautiful, folks. We're back to one weight again. And we're going back to our chair, whatever chair you're using. And from here, I want you to rotate from side to side. However, as you notice, the only thing moving is my arms. If you have osteoporosis, I don't want you to rotate your body, just your arms. This is a really good core exercise. I'm moving from side to side, but only, as I emphasize, and I have to make clear, only your arms from side to side as I'm sitting as tall and upright as possible in this chair. So let's do more core. Grab the chair and lift your knees in big round circles. So you see me doing some circles in one direction, and then I'm going back the other direction. If you can, I really want you to make sure your back is not touching the back of the chair or the back of the chair. Because if you do that, then you're not using your core the way I really want you to. But I want you to sit upright, feet off the ground, a few circles in one direction, a few circles in the other.
So folks, how did it feel to go through those 10 minutes with me? I can tell you, I really felt that. So a couple of recommendations, folks. For each exercise, I know, for example, a row, you might do a different weight for a row as opposed to a arm fly. So have multiple weights with you to get the most of your workout. That's point number one. Number two, folks, if you've done this 10 minutes and it becomes easier, maybe either increase your weight or do the more difficult versions like I showed throughout the workout. And last but not least, another recommendation is after these 10 minutes, if you feel you can do another round of these 10 minutes, please help yourself. So as you notice, this workout, we worked strength, we worked balance, we worked coordination, we worked everything, folks, what I think is really important for seniors as we all get older. On that note, thank you so much for following me, folks. This is Eric Daw from MountyFit. Take care. And by the way, before we finish, if you folks want to see more of these type of videos, let me know in the comments below. Bye-bye.